Hi guys, I'm live with Grappling Hearts. Today I've got Hunter Colvin with us. Super excited about Hunter. He's a super good competitor, great fighter. Hunter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. To start us off, do you kind of want to talk about what got you started into all this?
Yeah, pretty much I just started with traditional martial arts at a really young age, about 13. I was doing like karate, stuff like that, and we did jiu-jitsu on the side. Kind of fell in love with the jiu-jitsu side of things and really went full-time into jiu-jitsu about 18. I'm 25 now, so I've been in jiu-jitsu for about 7 years.
Awesome. So you said you did karate. Did that like spark that love for stand up too, or did that come later?
Yeah, I think stand-up was my first love, but once I started, you know, going with my friends who are wrestlers and all that, just messing around outside of class, they would take me down and beat me up. And I was like, okay, I got to learn this ground stuff because the karate's just not cutting it.
Totally understandable. So I feel like to me you're pretty accomplished. You've been on a lot of bigger shows, had some good success. From your standpoint, what do you feel was your big break when you started realizing, hey, I can compete with these world class dudes?
In my opinion, it was a couple of good trials runs. I got a fourth out of like 100 something people at the last ADCC trials. And like going with those big name guys in that tournament, I really was like, oh man, I could actually win this and actually be on ADCC. So that's pretty much been my main goal since I started this is getting into ADCC.
That's awesome. Are you going to be doing trials this year too?
Oh yeah, East Coast in November and West Coast in February if we don't win the East Coast.
That's awesome. I feel like it's definitely a good gauge for if you're a high level competitor or not. Like you said, all those big names out there, it's so cool.
For sure. I think Wagner Rocha said it's one of the hardest tournaments to win, and like it's like I got to the match right before the finals in the last one, and I think I had like 5 matches against like really top guys. If you can win that tournament, you're a stud for sure.
Absolutely. Now, for you, in your opinion, what makes a fight or even just a match fun for you?
I don't. I just like the scrap of it. If I got a guy who's like in my face and really trying to beat me, that's what I love. I like going out there and putting on a show for everybody, and like I train really hard for this, and sometimes I cut a lot of weight for these. So like when I get in there, I want to go, and like when I get a guy who's of the same mindset, it makes for some really fun matches.
100%. I read or I seen recently you have made a post and it said something along the lines of, if I step on those mats with you, I'm there to break you. Do you feel like that mindset's important to have in the sport?
For me, it helps me a lot. I think there's definitely a lot of different approaches, but like I'm really into like the cardio side of it, and like I have a really like high output type game, so it's fun for me to like put that high output on some guys and like see if they can keep up. And like when you get into these 10-minute matches, some guys can't, and like whenever you fold somebody, not even just with technique or being better than them, but just having better cardio, I really like that aspect of the sport.
For sure. It's definitely interesting, especially like what you said, when you start bumping it up to those 10-minute matches. It really changes things, or in my opinion, it does. Um, for you, what do you feel like is some big differences in MMA and jiu-jitsu as far as training and as far as the love for it?
The way I always explain it to people is like MMA is like jujitsu, everything's multiplied though. There's like more eyes on it. There's more money in it. The consequences are worse if you lose. You can like never be the same again after a fight. It's definitely not as safe as jujitsu. The training is a lot tougher in my opinion because you're taking damage, you're sparring. In jiu-jitsu, you can spar and you can spar hard and never really take any damage. But if you're in there, taking leg kicks and stuff, you're gonna feel that the next day. And I was a slow start with it, but I'm like really starting to like it. I'm really trying to like transfer into the MMA avenue.
That's cool. So what are some goals you have for jiu-jitsu and for MMA?
Right now, jiu-jitsu is winning trials, getting at ADCC, winning an IBJJF world title, and for MMA, trying to get onto one of the bigger organizations like ONE FC or UFC. Those are, I would say, my three primary goals right now.
Sweet. Um, say if you had an opportunity for like one weekend, whatever, that you could have anyone come into your gym or go anywhere and you could have the pick of whoever you want in the world in that room. Dream training session. Who would that be for you?
Any one guy that I could train with?
Anybody.
Oh man, that's hard. I mean, the easy answer would be Gordon, right? I would
For
like to go with
sure.
Gordon, but maybe somebody in my weight class at 88 kilos, like Craig Jones, maybe Hinger. One of those guys. There's so many good guys in the sport right now, and I'm from Oklahoma, so like besides Lovato, we don't really have a lot of top level guys here. You kind of just have to do what you can.
For sure. And you made that point of, being local or you might not have as many bigger names around you or high level jiu-jitsu. What do you think you can do to, if you're in that position, what do you think you can do to help yourself out and to get in the head to where you can stay with those guys?
You just got to work extra hard. I mean, I love it though, because like everything I've ever gotten in the sport, I've gotten out of the mud. Like, I'm not from a big world championship team. I don't have world championship training partners. We're just like a regular group of guys that train really hard every day. And like, whenever you do accomplish something in the sport, it makes it that much more special, especially when you're submitting guys who are on these world class teams.
Absolutely. And I feel like there is a common misconception that you have to have those world class teams or, those world class facilities. And it's like, no, man, you just need some gritty guys, in all honesty.
For sure. It's like some Rocky stuff, you just got to put the work in.
Absolutely. Um, you're doing the Submission Underground tournament coming up, right?
Yep, this Sunday.
Awesome. So, what are some predictions you have for that?
Um, I would, if I was willing to guess, it'll probably be me and Mason Fowler in the finals. He's on the opposite end of the bracket. I'm a fan of his. I've watched him. He looked really good at ADCC. My first match is against Adam Bradley. He's a tough competitor. He's an Autos guy. I've beaten him before though, so I'm feeling pretty confident about that one. And then I'll either have Roberto Jimenez or Nathan Orchard the second round, and both of those guys are savages. So like that could go either way. So I'm preparing for either one of them. But I predict that'll be me and Mason in the finals.
Awesome. I'm sure everyone will be watching. It'll definitely be an exciting tournament. Um, what else other than Submission Underground? Do you have anything coming up?
No, I'm honestly happy that it came to fruition because I did Who's Number One 2 weeks ago, and that was my first jiu-jitsu tournament since December because with all the Corona stuff going on and all
Yeah,
that, I had a long layoff. I fought in February, fortunately, but that's the last thing I did. So getting on Who's Number One and Submission Underground, like I'm honestly really thankful for it because I mean, I was going crazy. I was ready to get out there and compete. I've been training this whole time. Staying sharp and just ready to go. But like, haven't been able to actually get out there and compete. It's hard. But yeah, I got Submission Underground this Sunday, and then I'll be going back to the MMA world, dropping down to 170. It takes me a while, and fighting August 7th.
nice. When you fight on August 7th, what's that going to be? What organization will that be with?
It's for XFN. It's a local organization here in Tulsa. It's the biggest MMA organization in Oklahoma. So it's unfortunate that I have one of that caliber right in my backyard because it usually draws out a big crowd and like it's some especially with MMA like some of the promotions can get like really rinky dink and like really trashy. So like I'm fortunate that I have one that's at that level of professionality here.
That's awesome. Like you said, it's definitely good to have that because it's so easy to become associated with those rinky-dink organizations, and it really takes a toll on one's career if you're not careful with it.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, what are some struggles that you've came across in your upcoming?
Oh, pretty much just like the normal stuff like I having to deal with like family issues and all that like pretty much like everybody else and like I'm really fortunate for jiu-jitsu because is honestly like a way of escapism. Like it helps me, like take all those troubles that I had growing up and just, channel it into something positive. You can go one or two ways with it. You can, let it destroy you, or you can channel it into a good energy and, make yourself better because of it. And I think that's why I really got into jiu-jitsu, honestly, is because like, I'd be dealing with bad stuff in my personal life and all that. And I would just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to train and like, turn it into something constructive.
That's good. And like you mentioned earlier, you got all this Corona stuff going on, and people don't realize who like don't train that it does really help with mental health and everything else. And it's like people are like, "Oh, it's just the gym, you'll be all right." It's like, no, you won't.
Yeah,
Like you said, it helps you get through everything.
it's essential. It's meditation and therapy. It's like one, I'm like real bad ADD, like think I like nonstop. I can't stop. So like being able to actually do something where I just like can't think about anything and like just focus on the task at hand. It's wonderful. It's the only form of meditation I can really get into because it's like a meditation where I get to move.
Absolutely. And so do you teach at all by any chance?
Yeah, I teach half the classes at Brothers Jiu Jitsu, along with James Partridge, who owns the school.
Sweet. So you can answer this from both a personal standpoint and an instructor standpoint. When I don't know if you've ever had anyone with, like you said, ADHD or ADD or any other type of mental disorders or anything, but if you have, do you notice a pretty significant change with them from start to finish, or like their progression as far as like
For
it helping them?
For sure. I mean, we have people that come in, that have depression or, what have you, and like not even so much the training, but like getting in there and, my school is a real small school. Like we come from a big school, but since we branched out, we're, a fraction of that, and we get to have like that little family environment, and that's what I think is more beneficial for people that are struggling than anything is just getting in to be in there and like belong to a group, like we have people from all walks of life in there and like people that I would probably not even hang around with if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu just because of different jobs and different places in society, and like we get to go in there and put all that aside and just hang out, and like I feel like that brotherhood really helps a lot of people, just for it, they have that sense of longing and it really helps them. It's helped me for sure. All those guys, I love them to death. They're my brothers.
100%. And like you said, it really is a melting pot. And that's what I think makes it so beautiful because, like you said, you got all these people from all these walks of life and they all are connected by one love for choking each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's an awesome thing.
For sure. So obviously studying is very important. Who are some people you really enjoy studying?
I love JT Torres. I'm really into his passing and all that. He's one of my favorite guys to study. Obviously, Lovato, being an Oklahoma boy, I like watching his pressure passing and all that. You're actually going to be on a card with him, which is pretty dope. I saw
Yeah,
that. Yeah, so
thank you. Yeah, pretty hyped.
those are my two. Pretty much anybody that's got good passing and good top game, I like to study because that's what I like to do in my game.
That makes sense. And so I've had several people make these comments to me because I personally like to work passing just because, it's so important. But for you, do you feel like passing is probably the hardest thing to figure out in jiu-jitsu and to become a master at?
I would say so. I mean, I've been doing it for as long as I have, and like I feel like I'm just now tapping into like being a good guard passer, and like it's not so much like not only do I have to be good at passing the guard, but like some of these guys are such good guard players that it's like, you're fighting it from both ends. Like I got to make sure my guard passing is good, and he's got that good guard retention. It's just really hard to get around some people's guard. One of my training partners, Corbin, like he's really helped me with my guard passing here lately because like he's like 6'2", 6'3", real long legs, and like he's like impossible to get around his guard sometimes.
That's awesome, and it's nice to have those teammates that help you with that. Um, so coming up, you've obviously, like you say, you're getting ready to transition back into MMA. Who are some of the favorite fighters you like watching?
My favorite fighters, as far as like jiu-jitsu guys, like I like Ryan Hall with his like 50-50 leg lock stuff. I think that's cool. But if I was like just to pick my top two, it's really hard to narrow down. I like so many people, but I really like Khabib, like obviously a grappler. I think he like carries himself well too as a champion.
for sure.
Khabib and I was on the Darren Till train for a while. I like Darren Till. I like his attitude and stuff, but like he hasn't fought in a minute, so I'd like to see him fight again.
It'd be cool to see him get back in there. He really is such a good dude, like in the
He's
cage and outside.
Yeah, super young too. I think he's my age, 25. To be fighting at that level, this young of an age, is crazy to me.
Yeah, I didn't realize he's that young. That is wild. For you, um, do you think that it's typical, maybe not even typical, but do you think it's pretty common for people to try to transition back and forth into jiu-jitsu and MMA and stick with it, or do you feel like it's more common for them to try MMA and maybe get one fight and then be like, nope, not for me?
Yeah, I definitely see that a lot. I mean, you don't know if you're going to like it until you try it. So I see a lot of guys try it and then, maybe get knocked out or something bad happen and then go back to jiu-jitsu. I don't see a lot of guys that do both at a high level, though. You know what I mean? Like it seems like high level jiu-jitsu guys usually stick to jiu-jitsu, and high level MMA guys stick to MMA. I think at a certain point, you probably have to, you know, dedicate to just one, because once you get to like the upper echelon, like where you're competing in ADCC or you're competing in the UFC, you know, you probably have to, just only train MMA all the time or only train jiu-jitsu all the time, because those guys you're competing with are, it's kind of hard. I find it myself kind of hard to do both, because like right now I'm training for all these jiu-jitsu competitions and I'm only really training jiu-jitsu. I'm kind of neglecting my stand-up, So when I do go into my camps like I'm about to next week, I have to really, really focus on my stand-up. So it is hard to keep a balance, but at the lower levels, it hasn't been too bad. I'm sure if I make the next step up, I'll have to make a decision.
Awesome, man. For you, what do you think your decision would lean towards out of curiosity?
MMA, I feel like I can do jiu-jitsu, like into my mid 30s and early 40s, but like mid 30s MMA is usually when start breaking down. So like I'm trying to make a run at it while I can, and like I got into all of this because of MMA, watching UFC and stuff growing up. So like I want to chase that dream. And I think when I open my own school one day, I think having that experience will help, because a lot of guys like people with MMA experience, and getting to fight here locally. I use pretty much jujitsu. Like all of my fights have finished on the ground. So it is a good advertisement for myself when I eventually open a school, because I'm showing all these people around where my school will be open that like, oh, he's got good jiu-jitsu and like this actually works in a fight. So like I would want to, come learn from him.
100%. Like I said, it's good advertisement. If you were to ever open up your own school, would you want to stay in Oklahoma, or do you think you might branch out somewhere else?
I'd stay in Oklahoma. Like I like it here. It's honestly really cheap to live here. I've gotten to travel a lot because of jiu-jitsu, and like it's like they say, there's no place like home. Like I'm biased, but like it's especially I live in like a suburb of Tulsa, so like it's almost kind of country. In some of the spots there's like cows and horses and stuff, and like there's not any traffic and hardly any people, and that's kind of how I like it. I just kind of like the like laid back, relaxed side of things.
That's cool. And where you get to travel in jiu-jitsu, it is kind of nice just to get to go visit those places for a couple of days. You get tired of like, let's go back home now.
Yeah, that's how I
Um,
always get. Like I'll go to California in like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back home.
it's funny because I hear a lot of jiu-jitsu people say that, and I think it really does put it in perspective for them. For you, where you do get to travel quite a bit doing this, where's been some of your favorite places to travel just to visit, and some of your gyms to train at?
Man, I as far as traveling, like I'm kind of like an East Coast fan. Like I love New York City. I like California too, but not so much LA. I like San Diego. It's a little bit more my speed. I've never been up to like Northern California, so I'd like to check that out. As far as gyms go, we did like a 10th Planet run one time in California, and I did Boogie's gym at 10th Planet San Diego. I really like that gym. It's a lot of people,
Super
really
nice.
competitive. Yeah, very nice, very nice. A competitive environment, and I enjoyed my time there. And his brother Gio too. We went to his gym, and I enjoyed my time there as well. Um, I haven't got to try a whole lot of gyms out because when I do travel, it's for competing, so don't get to drop in. But as far as the gyms I have trained at, those have been some of my favorites.
That's awesome. And the Martinez brothers, they are such like classy people. I feel like you
Mm,
can have competed against them 100 times, and they'll still invite you. It's really great atmosphere anytime you're around them. So I love that aspect about them.
for sure. Most all of the people I've met have been nothing but nice.
Absolutely. Do you think that a bad experience as far as training or even competing can make or break somebody in this?
Like as far as visiting a school or just in
Yeah.
general. Oh, okay, yeah.
Um,
It's like they say, a first impression is an everlasting impression. So like whenever I have visitors come into the gym, I try to like make them feel as welcome as possible because like you might, I might be cutting weight down to 170 and like having an off night and like just being a dick and like, I got to like take myself out of that and like be nice to this person because I don't want him to come in that one time and then like be like, this guy's a jerk, and like he's a jerk all the time.
Totally understandable. Do you all get visitors quite often, or is it just a seldom thing?
We get visitors that train here locally often, but since it's Oklahoma, like we don't get like a lot of like people that are traveling. We definitely don't get anybody that's here for vacation.
It makes sense. Because up in Kentucky, we don't really get a whole lot of
Yeah.
vacationers either. Nobody wants to see
These.
cows all day.
Yeah, exactly.
For you, what's been some of your most memorable matches and some of your most memorable events?
Man, I had a match at the last trials. It was the first round, and two trials before that, back when I was a purple belt, I lost first round. I went out, and we drove to New York City, so it was like a 24-hour drive, and I went down there and lost first round. So this I forget the kid's name, but like he's from TriStar. The next one, and it was first round, and like we're kind of just hand fighting and stuff, and then it goes to point. He goes points. The second half's points, and this kid just starts kicking my ass. Like he starts throwing me. Like you get like 4 points for really good throws. He's like throwing me left and right. Like I think he's like up by 8 points, just whooping me. And like I hit him with like a double leg probably 2 minutes left in the match and like really turned the tide on the match. Ended up getting to the back, choking him out, and just basically overcoming some adversity and being like, no, I'm not going to come here and lose first round. And I ended up making it all the way to the semifinals that year. That's been a favorite match of mine just because it showed like no matter how bad it's getting, you can't quit. I would say another favorite match of mine is all my matches for EBI Combat Jiu Jitsu, I loved all that stuff. It's kind of like halfway in between a fight and Jiu Jitsu, and like you get to go with people like Nathan Orchard and Felipe Fogelin. All those guys were like, super fun to go with, especially when you're getting to throw strikes and stuff you might not normally get to do. And anytime I get a chance to do those EBI CJJ events, like I love doing those.
100%. I really like it too because I feel like in the CJJ events, it really prevents a lot of like stalling. It definitely makes people move, and I feel like it makes the match more engaging to a point.
Yeah, and you definitely can't just hang out on bottom or you're getting hit.
For sure. And I'm really glad you brought up EBI because let's talk about that for a second. For you, the first EBI you did, what was that experience like?
Well, the first CBI I did, I was like a brown belt, and I had never really done anything big. Like I had done fight to wins, and I had won a fight to win title, I think, at that point. But like nothing like super super big. And then I like get a message from Eddie on my phone. I had never even talked to Eddie, and like I like had to like look, do a double take. I'm like, it's like Eddie Bravo sends you a DM. I was like, oh, what the hell? And like I look in there, and they wanted me to do it on like 2 weeks notice. And so like I was like, hell yeah, like sign me up. Jumped in, did it on 2 weeks notice, had a great time. Um, and then the same thing happened with a super fight with Kyle. Kyle Vane, he hit me up on like 7 days notice for that one too, and I just jumped in there. I stay ready. So anytime one of these promoters wants somebody for a tournament, I'll jump in. I've done 3 of them. I did the super fight with Kyle, and then 2 tournaments, a 170 and a 185.
That's awesome. And you mentioned staying ready. I don't think people realize that it really does make a difference in how many matches you get and what kind of matches you get when you're willing to take them on short notice. Yeah, it can be a really big difference.
Yeah, 100%. You just gotta, you know, you never know when your opportunity is gonna come. So you got to be ready, and like you don't want to like just miss it because you're being lazy.
For sure. And so when Eddie did send you that DM and you were getting on that, getting ready for that, going into that match, what's your mindset like? Like, are you focused on making it to a certain point? Like, obviously you want to win,
Yeah.
but what kind of thoughts do you have to keep that um
For I actually experienced like a weird feeling with EBI that I've been feeling here lately when I compete, and it's like I'm underwhelmed. Like you think you'd get in there and like be like super nervous and like scared, and like I am nervous, but like I like instead of like having to like calm myself down, I have to like psych myself up. Like it's weird. It's like, oh, I'm here at EBI. I'm going against like this dude who's a badass, and like you need to get ready, and like this is a big opportunity. And like for some reason, like I just like don't feel anything. I like feel like I'm at a doctor's office or something. I have to like get myself ready to go, and it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I deal with nervousness. Maybe that's a form of nervousness, but I've been talking to my coach James about this a lot. Like I have to like really warm myself up. Like if you've ever seen me warm up, I like pace and like listen to my music and stuff. I look like a maniac, but it's like I'm having to get going because for some reason I just like I feel super underwhelmed.
do you feel like that's a advantage or disadvantage?
Probably an advantage because I'd rather do that than be too nervous, and but like it can be a disadvantage. Luckily, I've like got it down in my warm up routine to where I can perform. But like if I went out there flat, I get my ass kicked. So like I would take it as opposed to being extremely nervous. But like you definitely have to like get to where you need to be.
100%. Hunter, is there anything else about you, be it that's happened in the past or it's upcoming, anything at all that you want anyone watching to know about you?
Just pretty much submission underground this weekend, and watch me for my MMA fight. I like to represent the jiu-jitsu community. I use jiu-jitsu when I'm out there, and like I don't. There's not a whole lot of guys that are doing jiu-jitsu at this level that are too. So like when I do fight, I get a lot of messages from the jiu-jitsu guys and stuff, and I like being a representative of our sport. I think it's a great sport. I think it's one of the best sports for fighting, and I like to carry it, and do it proud.
That's awesome. I really like hearing that people send you messages like that because I feel like the support in this community is unlike anyone else. It's so great.
100%. The nicest people in the world are in jiu-jitsu. Like even people that I'm going to compete against, and like I have competed against, like we can like even at the tournament we're about to compete against, we can just hang out, kick it, and then like it's a sport. It's really there's a lot of really kind people in it.
100%. That's what I love about it. But Hunter, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions on a lot of this stuff. If there's anyone you want to give a shout out to, you can do that now.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Just want to give a shout out to my guys at Brothers, Corbin, Connor, Jams, all y'all. Catch me at Submission Underground this Sunday on UFC Fight Pass. It's going to be a good tournament. And then we're actually doing a small tournament at my gym that we're going to have Keith Krikorian in and a couple other guys. And it's like a sub-only 8-man. We do it like every year. It'll be on mine or James's Facebook page, Hunter Colvin or James Partridge. We're going to live stream it. It'll be a nice little tournament the last weekend of this month, June 27th. So tune in and check that out, guys.
Sweet. Before we head off, I'm gonna give a shout out to our sponsors, Sweeps Apparel, Stretch Nine, B2G Coffee. If anyone gets a chance, check them out. They're great. Hunter, super appreciative of you today. I think that's all we got for today.
All right. Thanks for having me. Have a good day, everybody.
Absolutely. You too.
Bye.
Bye.